Hello dear students. In this video, under the topic Protocols and Standards, I'll be teaching the OSI model. OSI stands for Open System Interconnection. OSI model was developed by the International Standards Organization ISO. OSI is a model which serves as a benchmark model on how data communication happens on the network. This model has 7 interconnected layers. These are shown in this picture. The 7 layers are physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. Physical layer being the layer 1 and application layer being the layer 7. Out of these 7 layers, the first 3 layers, physical layer, data link layer, and network layer, are categorized as network support layers because they work in close contact with the physical link. So this physical link is nothing but the transmission medium through which the data travels on the internet. The layers, layer 5, 6, and 7, that is session layer, presentation layer, application layer, are called as user support layers because they work more in contact with the users. They are more close to the users of the internet. Hence, they are called as user support layers. And the transport layer sits in between these 2 layers. It acts as an intermediary between the network support layers and the user support layers. So now let's understand why each of these layers is required and what are the functions carried out by each of these layers. The first layer, physical layer, has the task of transmitting individual bits from one node to another over the physical medium. Physical layer being the first layer which is directly linked to the physical medium or transmission medium, has the responsibility of transmitting the data in terms of bits. Data can be any file, text, audio, video, or any numerical file, or it can be an image also. So any of this finally will be converted and represented as binary bits, individual bits. So the physical layer is responsible for transmitting the individual bits of information from one node to another node. So when we say node, it's nothing but a computer. So when I say computer, it can be a desktop computer, laptop, or a mobile phone, or any other computing component can be called as a node. So when 2 nodes which are connected to the network have to send and receive data, the physical layer is responsible for this transmission, sending and receiving data. So it transmits the data on the physical medium in digital form, in binary form. The second layer, data link layer, has the job of reliable data transfer. So it incorporates or converts the data into frames. So whatever data it gets from its peer layer. So peer, when I say peer layer, it has physical layer and network layer as the peer layers, or layers which are immediately close to the data link layer. So it takes the data from its peer layers and it makes data frames out of it. So how does it make frame? It will add a header and trailer. So header and trailer basically contain the address of the source node and the destination node. Source node which generated this particular data, and the destination node which is intended to receive this particular data. So this addressing information is incorporated into the data frames using the data link layer. The third layer, network layer, is responsible for delivering the data packets from source to the destination node through addressing and routing. In an ideal scenario, there need not be a direct connection between the source node to the destination node. Many intermediate nodes might be sitting in between the source node and destination node. And the data, when it has to go from source to destination, might have to travel crossing many other nodes. And there is a possibility of having more than one route for the data to be transmitted in the network, because it's a wide network which is in use. Hence, out of many routes, which route is the most beneficial or most cost effective, or which route can send the data at the highest speed, will be preferred by the network layer, and that job is known as routing. So network layer takes care of the addressing and routing of data packets from source node to destination node. The next layer, transport layer, is responsible for delivering the entire message from source node to the destination node. The physical layer handles data in terms of individual bits. Data link layer handles the data in terms of frames. Network layer handles the data in terms of packets. But none of these are the entire information. These are part of the information or message which has to be sent and received. The entire message in its whole is handled by the transport layer. Transport layer makes sure that the entire message will travel from source and reach destination. The transport layer takes care of the delivery of entire message from the source host to the destination. The fifth layer of the OSI model is a session layer. It establishes the sessions between the users and gives services like dialogue control and synchronization. When two nodes have to communicate information between each other, they have to first have a connection in between them. First, they have to make a handshake to check whether both are ready to send and receive data. And they have to have a synchronization between them. Synchronization means when a sender sends the data, receiver should be up and waiting to receive the data. Otherwise, the data might be lost. So this dialogue control, session control and synchronization, all these jobs are taken care by the session layer. The next layer, sixth layer of the OSI model, is presentation layer. Presentation layer monitors the syntax and semantics of the transmitted information. So any language will have its own syntax. Any communication will have its own syntax. Say in English we have grammar, and in Kannada we have Vyakarana. So these grammar or Vyakarana, they give the rules to frame sentences using the alphabets of the language. Similar to that, any communication will have its own syntax. If syntax is not followed, the information which is communicated might become meaningless. So presentation layer ensures that the syntax and semantics of the information is adhered to. And it's going to ensure the syntax and semantics by using translation. Say if source node and destination node, they do not understand the same language, then it's the responsibility of presentation layer in order to sit as intermediary and translate the data in a form the receiver can understand. And also many a times the data will be huge in size, and due to network bandwidth limitation, such huge data cannot be transferred efficiently on the network. If transferred also, it will be a wastage of bandwidth. Hence, presentation layer offers several compression techniques. So you would have heard about zip and rar, where we compress the files which we want to send on internet using these two techniques. These are compression techniques. So these are taken care by presentation layer. And also presentation layer is responsible for securing the information which travels on the network. When it is going from sender to receiver, the data travels on the network. So before the data is let onto the network, it will be encrypted. So encryption means changing the data into a form which doesn't make sense when it is read. So the data is altered in such a way that if any unauthorized user accesses the data on the network, it doesn't make any sense to him. At the receiving end, the presentation layer at the receiver will decrypt the image, decrypt the data and make sure that it will be understandable to the peer presentation layer. The next layer is application layer. The application layer provides high-level APIs or application program interfaces to the users. So these applications may be file transfer applications, mailing services, are few examples of the application layer APIs. So these APIs are very useful for the user in order to invoke some network application and make use of it. So these are the functions of the 7 layers of OSI model in brief. So in the next part of the video, we will be learning the functions of physical layer and data link layer in a bit more detail. The physical layer is the lowest layer in the OSI model, as we all know. So the physical layer has the main job of transmitting data in terms of bits from the source node to the destination node. So for this transmission of individual bits, it has to establish, maintain and deactivate the physical connection. If you observe in this picture, there are 2 physical layers shown here. The first physical layer is the physical layer in the sender computer or sender node. A similar physical layer will be there in the receiver node as well. So the sender physical layer will establish a connection on this transmission medium. So transmission medium is not a dedicated transmission medium between this sender and receiver. There will be many more computers on the internet which are making use of the same transmission medium. So before the physical layer can put the individual bits onto the transmission medium, it should ensure that the transmission medium is currently available. It's not busy with any other transmissions. So that checking has to be done by the physical layer. Once it finds that the transmission medium is free, it has to establish a connection to the transmission medium and it has to maintain the connection till it transmits all the individual bits. Once the entire set of bits is transmitted, it has to deactivate the physical connection so that other computers on the network can make use of the transmission medium. So physical layer has the main task of establishing, maintaining and deactivating the physical connection. Along with this, the physical layer also specifies the mechanical, electrical and procedural specifications of this transmission medium. So mechanical specifications are related to what sort of cables are used for transmission. Electrical specifications talk about what kind of electrical signals can be passed, what is the voltage level, what is the frequency level in which the data can be transmitted on the transmission medium. And procedural specifications, they talk about how to establish, maintain and deactivate the connection through the transmission medium. The procedural specifications might vary from one transmission medium to another. So it's the job of physical layer to take care of all these specifications. So functions of physical layer can be technically classified into 4. The first function is data transmission. Data transmission function of physical layer defines in which transmission mode the data will be transmitted on the physical connection. So there are 3 modes of transmission of data on the physical connection: simplex, half duplex and full duplex modes. Simplex mode of transmission means the physical connection takes the data in one direction only. So if a transmission medium is simplex, then it can transmit the data, say from sender to receiver in only one direction. So it can't take back the data from receiver. Whenever receiver wants to send back something to the sender, it can't be done on that particular link. So there should be one more simplex link for that purpose. Half duplex link means duplex, the word meaning duplex means two-way communication. So the same link can be used to send and receive data. Half duplex transmission means only data packets can be sent on the transmission medium. The acknowledgement packets cannot be sent on half duplex. So whenever a sender and receiver do data exchange, the sender sends some data to the receiver. Upon receiving the data, the receiver has to send back an acknowledgement packet saying that the data was correctly received, or if the data was erroneously received also, it has to be sent back. So that is not possible with half duplex. If acknowledgement is also desirable, full duplex mode transmission has to be adopted. So physical layer has to define whether the mode is simplex, half duplex or full duplex. The second function of physical layer is line configuration. So line configuration defines the way in which how two or more devices can be connected physically. So line configuration also depends on what type of physical connection or transmission medium is in use for data transmission. So for each transmission medium, the line configuration is going to be different. So there will be a method which is followed to establish the connection, maintain the connection and deactivate the connection. That is taken care by the line configuration function. The physical layer also defines the topology of the network. So physical layer should have an idea of what topology is used for the network devices, whether a bus topology is used, ring topology is used, mesh topology is used, star topology is used, or a hybrid topology, a combination of any two of these is used. So the physical layer should be informed, or it should be aware of what sort of topology is used on the transmission medium, and it has to accordingly adopt its data transmission of bits. Another important function of physical layer is signals. So the physical layer should determine the type of signals which are used for transmitting the information. So signals, whether the signals are analog signals or digital signals, or what is the frequency of signals that can be transmitted on the transmission medium, what is the voltage level to be maintained of the signal, for the signal during transmission, is any amplitude increase required for the signal so that the signal quality can be maintained. So all these are taken care by the physical layer. So it should be well aware of the line configuration, topology, signal and data transmission about the physical transmission medium. The next layer, the second layer which we will be discussing in detail in this video, is the data link layer. So data link layer, the main job of data link layer is to construct frames for error-free data transfer. So it takes data from its peer layers and it will define the frames out of it. So it will encapsulate the data which it takes from its peer layer as a frame by adding a header and trailer to that particular data item. So by adding header and trailer, it is going to give the address information about the source node which generated this data and the destination node's address to which the data has to be delivered. So when this data moves through the network and reaches the peer data link layer, seeing the header and trailer, the data link layer will understand to which address the data has to be forwarded next. So this is very much required for reliable and efficient transmission of data between two or more devices. The data link layer consists of two sublayers which are hidden inside. The first layer is logical link control layer. The second layer is media access control layer. The logical link control layer takes care of the addressing part. So it adds the header and footer and constructs the frames for the data. Along with that, it will do the job of flow control. So it makes sure that the sender is sending the data to the receiver at a speed in which the receiver is capable of receiving. Sometimes the sender or receiver need not be working at the same speed. Say if sender is fast and receiver device is slow, then receiver will not be capable of handling the frames at a speed with which sender is sending, and data might be lost. So it's the job of logical link layer to take care of this flow of frames. The second sub-layer of data link layer is the media access control layer. So this media access control layer sits between the logical control layer and the physical layer. So its main job is to control access to the physical medium. So when numerous nodes on the network are trying to access the same transmission medium for data transfer, who has to get access to that particular transmission medium is taken care by the media access control layer. It's the job of media access control layer to establish an access to the transmission medium for transferring the packets over the network. So to formally define the functions of the data link layer, the first function of data link layer is framing. So as I just told, the data link layer takes the raw bit stream from the physical layer and makes frames out of it. Then how does it make the frame? So it will add a header and trailer to the data, and that becomes the frame. What does the header and trailer contain? It contains the address of the source and destination nodes. The second job of data link layer is the physical addressing. So the physical addressing job will add, the physical addressing job of data link layer is to add a header to the frame which contains the destination address. The frame is transmitted to the destination address which is mentioned in the header. So seeing the header itself, the address to which the frame is intended can be identified at the receiving data link layer. The third job of data link layer is flow control. So flow control is a task of data link layer which maintains a constant data rate during message communication between the different layers in the OSI model. So this ensures that the transmitting station, like a server which is a high-speed computer, does not swamp the receiving station, which generally is a lower speed device. So it makes sure that the sender, high-speed sender, sends data at a speed which is manageable to receive by the receiver. That job is called as flow control. The fourth job of data link layer is error control. So the data link layer will add some error control bits to the data. Like the error control bit examples are parity bits and cyclic redundancy check bits. So these are some mathematically calculated bits which are added to the data. So this particular error control bits are put in the trailer of the frame, which is constructed by the data link layer. So at the receiving end, in the peer data link layer, these bits will be checked. These bits will be checked using some mathematical algorithms. If they verify correctly, the peer data link layer will accept the data to be correct. If at all the data cannot be verified as per the error control bits, then it will send back an acknowledgement saying that the data was erroneous and a retransmission of the data again can be initiated. So error control is a very important task of data link layer because it contributes to error-free data transfer between two communicating nodes on the computer. The next job of data link layer, or the last job of the data link layer, is access control. When two or more devices are connected to a common communication channel on the network, then data link layer contains some media access protocols which determine the order in which the devices can get an access to the link at any given time. So there are several algorithms which are based on time division multiplexing and frequency division multiplexing of the communication channel. So using these protocols and algorithms, an access to the transmission medium can be established. So these access control functions are part of data link layer. So this is about the physical layer and data link layer operations or functions in detail. We shall discuss the rest of the layers functions in detail in our upcoming videos. Thank you.